we're just putting a boot in at Spurs.
It's the only one we have put a thing on anyway.
Yeah.
So, right. Right, so we're going to have to rattle through a few of these quickly. So I'm sorry if you are fans of some of these clubs, but you haven't got all night, and neither do we. So, Everton, we gave you some real juice there. Everton at West Brom. I think let's start with the who we expect to win.
Everton.
Everton. I know I love West Brom. I love West Brom, and it pains me to say it. I'm not a West Brom fan, but I just remember.
So we've talked about Everton man for man. You've talked about a few of their midfielders, but now let's think fantasy world. Who's your bang for your buck in that midfield? Are we looking this game? Has it got to be Hammers, isn't it?
Yeah. But West Brom too did play a back five. I know Leicester scored 3, but I will say I watched this game the entirety, and West Brom were in the game. That scoreline is very complimentary towards Leicester, and 2 goals for penalties. They were very much in this game. And I know, even in looking at stats, it doesn't look like that. But from watching the game, it wasn't a steamrolling. Like they were definitely in. I did see some players that stood out to me, which I'll mention in a minute. But I think Hammers is probably your best bet, but it's not going to be easy because they're going to be on him like glue.
Yes, tactically. But then at the same time, I think you touched on this in the pre-season, but he's that player for Everton you look at and go, he's going to give you that moment of genius.
Yeah.
You know? And in games
that's
like
what I mean.
this,
if there's anyone that's going to do it, it'll be him.
But what I noticed about Everton in this last game, from a formational point of view, they went with a 4-4-2 diamond. Now, quite rare in itself anyway, unless you're Carlo Ancelotti, who loves this system. Uses it literally everywhere he goes. But it's the power of that midfield that's quite scary. I think, like, when you look at Decore, kind of holding mid destroyer, and then you got Allen and Gomez in there as well, and then you have James at the point. That's a proper midfield with the 2 of Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin able to kind of split wide and find those pockets to give them that width with the fullbacks. They are looking like a good unit. I just want to see if they're consistent. That's my thing with Everton. They always look kind of good at the beginning of every season, and then 3 games in, somehow we're talking about Sam Allardyce coming in and saving them. But I think you've touched
on a good point in the midfield, because if you look at West Ham's central midfield, because obviously out the wings they're very strong with Dieng and Pereira. But if it's Livermore and Sawyers against what Alan, James Rodriguez, and then Decore, if they then venture into Everton's half, Livermore had a great season last season, but against those 3 or 4, it's tough.
I think that's the kind of team you'd go down the tunnel and be genuinely quite scared of, you know? You'd be like, these are a big set of lads.
One West Brom player that really, really, really impressed me, and it's annoying because he used to play for QPR, Furlong. He was outstanding.
Ooh, okay.
I was so impressed with Furlong.
He was a bit like...
He was a bit like, do you know how everyone's raving about Lamptey? He had a similar performance to him. So I feel like Furlong's, just because they lost, Furlong's kind of just no one's talking about him. But he really impressed me. And he was playing a lot higher up than he used to at QPR. He's kind of adapted to this right wing back, even though it's a defensive 5 sort of system that a lot of people play. Because obviously wing backs are kind of the new fullbacks, aren't they? With like Trent's kind of setting that.
Yes.
But then he's now playing that role, and he really suited it. No, he was getting in dangerous situations because Pereira was kind of cutting in more centrally, just to kind of help out Callum Robinson, who was kind of on his own for a lot of the game.
Right.
So he would then overlap from Pereira and just basically do similar jobs. So I don't know how cheap he is, and he's definitely cheaper than Pereira.
4.5.
So if you rate assists from West Brom, and you don't want to have Pereira, then you could go for Furlong because he does basically the same thing in this system in the Premier League.
Interesting. Very interesting. And let's not forget the new signing, Branislav Ivanovic. Coming back in, 36 years old, but it's done. He's in the club.
So I will say that he's not going to play like a lot of minutes. But Bilic is very smart. And he knows he's basically just got the experience for all the important games. Because let's be honest, they might be expecting a relegation battle. Even
Oh
though
yeah,
I've got tips for them doing better in reality. But if you've got someone like Ivanovic and you can bring on in like the must-win 3-point needed games,
I
I
can
feel
even.
like he'll handle it brilliantly.
And if it goes badly, I don't see why he couldn't sit in the middle of a three. He is a leader. That is one thing for damn sure. That man is going to scream and shout at you and set standards. Whether he's on his game or not, he's going to make sure everybody else around him is on their game. So I think it's a very shrewd signing. 4.5 again. If he plays for West Brom, he comes into the team, put him in.
I don't think he's been brought in to play regular
No,
minutes.
that's exactly it. But as you say, if he is, shout. But if not, Furlong, 4.5, really good attacking positions, likely to get you the odd assist and goal. And in this game, though, against Everton, where Everton they have a lot of strength going through the middle of the pitch, and Digne likes to bomb forwards. So as does Coleman, that could be where the spaces come from. So not a bad
Yeah,
little
Digne
cheeky get
assist
rid of.
is probably good. Digne assist might be a good shout as well. Just if he can kind of do the overlap on Furlong.
Yeah, exactly. So look out for that. Digne, the two sets of fullbacks this weekend could be a way of looking at it. So I guess we should probably let these guys know what Everton's prices are as well, to be fair. So why don't we have a little look at Digne, 6, Coleman, 6. I think if you want to have a couple of bench fillers, I say bench fillers. You've actually picked Calvert-Lewin to start, haven't you, John?
I have, yeah. He replaced Giroud for me because he's not going to get games, old Giroud.
And he's gone up in price, 7.1. So he's one of the first to actually have a little raise. So people are obviously seeing what you're seeing. Lovely header for the goal last week as well. And again, in that system, if he's going to play every game up front, you'd say he's the most selfish number 9 out of the 3 in the sense of Richarlison's creative enough to make something happen out wide and come in. He's a bit limited, Calvert-Lewin. So therefore, he sticks in and around the box a lot more often. So
is there an argument for Richarlison getting both goals and assists, even if he doesn't get as many goals as Lewin? He's kind of got the double threat.
Yeah, I think he just